Okay, part two. This update or video is really just to talk more, not more, but talk about what's happened since last time. Wow, honestly, I think a lot has happened since last time. I think last time I hadn't even talked about finals, maybe. Maybe I did. Okay, I had to quickly pause that video because I needed to actually go check the blog and see what I had talked about. So let's see, last time we talked about, we kind of summarized a bunch of things because I have not posted regularly in a very long time. Obviously, life gets busy, things happen, and I forget or I don't have the time to physically sit down, type a lot of things out, and post it. So that's why slacking has happened throughout the blog. But well, I think we're gonna go with what updates we do have. And last time I talked about my homesickness, talked about my friends being here from Oregon. I talked about my friends here and how it felt to have a family away from home. What a beautiful community we have built here. Talked about that day being the last day of the semester, and so I don't think I really talked about finals week in depth. I just kind of said it's done. Yeah, so maybe I'll start there. And I have to talk now about the trips that we have been on. So anyway, let's start. Finals week. Finals week went well. It was the week before finals week was the worst week, honestly, because we had papers due like crazy. Like there's papers everywhere. Papers, reflections, research, all this wonderful stuff. That was incredibly stressful. And yep, that was the week before finals week, but we got it done. We turned things in on time. Yep, and so then finals week was just taking exams, finishing up quizzes, looking over grades, making sure everything's in place, making sure everything's done, and graded, which a lot of stuff actually wasn't graded. Which, if you're a teacher or professor or something, you know that a lot of stuff doesn't get graded until like way past the semester is done. But now everything's graded because our transcripts have to go back to school. So yeah, finals week was really well. I took my final exams. I did well. I did well on my final exams. We did our final presentations for our classes. We also did well there. We wrote a group paper. That was the first time I've ever in a paper as a collective group, and it was super interesting. And in some ways easier to write it, and in other ways harder and more draining than it is to just have one person write the entire thing and be done. But it was really cool, really awesome, because our project revolved around looking up a community, figuring out a community development plan, and then from there we had to write a paper on it. Write about a method we would use based on what we had learned in class and why. And talk a little bit about the resources in the community, a lot of things. So each group member kind of focused on a section, and we went from there. Then we just went over it again as a whole paper, edited it out, made sure the transitions made sense, made sure the paper flowed, and we did really well. Yeah, it was super cool to be able to experience that for the first time, writing a group paper, group presentation, all the things. And yeah, it was good. I don't think I'll ever have to do that again in college. So it was just an interesting experience to have. Super cool. Let's see, and then we did our final presentation for our Ecuador 350 class, and that was super emotional because we had to write a reflection on what we had learned in the class, and why that class was impactful to us, or why it was like any kind of valuable thing to us. And I had a lot to say. That class has been such a blessing, such an amazing, super interesting class from the beginning. From day one, I was like, what? The culture, the history, politics, all these things, super cool to be able to learn about the community I'm living in. Especially because we are not from here, we don't know anything. Essentially, we don't know anything. And so being able to have that class while living here is super informative, super useful on all sorts of levels. And anyway, I had so much to say about how that class had impacted me personally, spiritually, just holistically. And we had to read our papers, like our reflections, to our class. Um, and my paper was already like an emotional, like obviously he said right from the heart, and so I did that. Um, and then it's loaded. I love writing, and so I don't write lightly. Um, so then when I had to present it, I told my friend, I was ready. I was ready to execute it successfully. I had practiced the sentences. I made sure it all flowed nicely and all the things. But I got up there and I started reading it and I just started crying because I couldn't hold back. It's very emotional. But anyway, that goes to show me and I guess everyone else potentially like just how important that class was, but also just my experiences in Ecuador and how heavy it's been and how valuable and yep, just impactful, completely, totally impactful on a totally different level. I don't know how, I can't describe it. Maybe I'll post it on the blog, but I'll think about it. Um, um, so yeah, and that was our two presentations we had to do. And then on Friday, the day that I posted that, um, the last blog, I just had to take an exam, and actually I did the exam before that. I had done that. Wow, I'm losing my mind. I did the exam before that. That day was just presentations, and we had to present on a story we had written, and it was supposed to be a fake story, like a fictional story. But a lot of students didn't actually do that, so maybe it wasn't. But anyway, my story was fiction, and all I had to do was summarize the story. I didn't have to read the story or anything. I just had to summarize it, talk about my character development, my climax, my plot, all the things, resolution. Super weird presentation, honestly, but I think it makes sense since it was supposed to be in Spanish. It was for my Spanish class, because I think she was just evaluating like our Spanish speaking class or our Spanish speaking and our um, ability to like summarize a story. I don't really know. Anyway, that presentation got done. I did well, and that's it. Yeah. And then that was finals week. That was it. We were done, and we had to hurry and pack for Peru because, wait, yeah, for Peru because we were gonna go to Peru first. My cohort was the one that was gonna go first, so our administrators and leaders they split our whole group up. There's 29 students, and they split us in two groups. I'm so sorry. I have been the most tired, slothy person the past 3 weeks, and so anyway, I'm tired. But um, that week we had to go to Peru, and they split us into two groups because it's just easier. We were having to take flights and just travel, and traveling in huge groups is an enormous task. It's so complicated and difficult, even even when you're not leading the groups, even when you're not in charge of making sure everything goes smoothly and you're just part of the group, it's chaos. It's total chaos. And so I think it was smart to split up the groups. Even when they did split up our groups, we were still having chaos and it was just all over the place. But that's what travel is independently. And so this just was a communal experience. Anyway, so we traveled to Peru. We first went to Lima and then we went to Cusco. We got to explore Machu Picchu and have super early mornings. Every day was like 4:15 a.m. morning. We pretty much just like sleepwalk to the bus, put our things in, sit down, pass out, wake up in the next like 3 hours, eat, and then go on a hike. That was pretty much our entire trip in Peru. It was like go, 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 craziness, craziness, craziness. But it's kind of hard because you're having early mornings, you're super tired, um, I guess your energy is low, but like it is low, but you're running on so much adrenaline because you don't stop at all. Like there are no breaks, no breaks at all. You don't get home until late at night. You eat dinner and then you pretty much just pass out because you are exhausted. And then the next day in a few hours, like 5 hours, again, 4:15 a.m., same thing, bus, pack. Um, yeah, absolutely crazy. But it was amazing. I mean, we got to see Machu Picchu and walk through and get a tour and take pictures and oh man, it was so beautiful, so beautiful. And next, well, we went to salt mines. We went to see salt mines, and that was pretty cool. We got to ride ATVs through Cusco and just like see amazing scenery, like mountains and sandiness, lots of like dry spots, I guess you could say, but also lots of green. Amazing, just super cool. I've never been ATVing in my life, and that was really cool. Also, that was our first time driving, like everybody's first time driving since we got here. So it's been like 3 or 3.5 months, something like that, and that was thrilling. I miss driving, so that was great. Um, yep, we got to ATV through town and all these places, and then we got to hike up Rainbow Mountain, which I don't know how many people know what that is, but I guess now apparently it's more popular because National Geographic posted something on it and said like you can't die before going to Rainbow Mountain, something like that. Anyway, they publicized on it or published it, and now everybody wants to go. So maybe you know about it. But um, we got to go, and it was super cool. The elevation in Cusco, Peru is like super high, and when you go up to Rainbow Mountain, it's like way higher. I'm trying to remember how high it is. It's like 17,000, something like that. Super high, super high. We're already in Quito. We're already at a high elevation, so walking up a hill, you're like. But then in Rainbow Mountain, it was just really bad. Like I don't even know. Yeah, you're not like losing air. You're just like you just feel like a tension in your chest. Like that's how bad it is. You don't even lose air anymore. You just like feel tension and potentially get a headache and potentially throw up and potentially no, pretty much everyone's dehydrated. um, all the things. But anyway, so we had to climb up um, that mountain, I guess, and so it's pretty flat actually. Like we climbed up Cotopaxi, and here in Ecuador, there's Cotopaxi, and there's Pichincha, and there's Quilotoa, but that one's like a walk down, and then you walk up. But none of us walked up. We all took donkeys. Um, yeah, and so Cotopaxi is like an incline, and it's hard to breathe, and That's just pretty much what the hike looks like. But then this one was like pretty much all flat ground. Like nobody should have really had like a super hard time walking through it just the first time because you go really slow. You drink a lot of water, you take potty breaks, and it's flat ground. So even though it is high altitude, it's kind of like balanced out. But then once you get to like nearly the end, it's like a 2 hour hike, I think, something like that. 2 hour, 3 hour. I don't know about 3 hours, but 2 hours, and then like a 1 hour, half an hour, 1 hour and a half down. So yeah, once you get to nearly the end, there's like the actual mountain. It's just like straight, like almost like straight up, and I was like, I can't do it. Just by looking at it, I hadn't even gone up yet. But then we started going up, and it was cold, and man, I'm trying to remember what the problem was. Honestly, I don't think there was a problem. I think it was just like a little bit chilly, and it had started to hail some. And that's pretty much it. And we saw the incline, and we were like, but yeah, that was it. And so we went up it, and it took us didn't take too long, but it was hard. It was hard to go up. We are just really tired, and then you had to like in all of the mountains pretty much in this region, like Ecuador and Peru, like whenever you go on a hike, it's super useful to take like little candy, like hard candy, because you go sucking on it and it like stimulates your saliva, and so you kind of just like I don't know. I don't know if it's like it's not hydrating because it's just your saliva, but it's it like one, it helps you with nausea if you have it, and then two, I feel like your throat gets dry when you don't have anything, even if it's just water, because water you just gulp down and then your body's just like psh, because you're sweating, and so then when you have candy, I don't know, it's like motivating. That's how I felt. So I was eating candy the entire time, and I'm not a huge candy person, but I just stuck on it, and life was good. And so then we made it to the top, we took pictures, and it was cold, and then it got sunny, and so it was super hot because we're super high up, and the sun is no joke. It is no joke. I got burnt at Machu Picchu, and yeah, it was sunny, but it didn't feel, it was hot. It didn't feel like scolding. Anyway, I missed a little half, like a little piece right here where my strap was with sunscreen, and that was just a little bit red the next day, and then it left. But anyway, Rainbow Mountain, check. Super cool experience. You get to the top and you look, not down, but like straight forward, and you see this mountain. You're not like on the mountain, but you're like across the mountain, and all you see is like a rainbow of colors. It's like one color, another color, another color, the same color, another color, and like they're like the same few colors, but they like alternate, and so it looks super, super beautiful. Like honestly, if you can, just like Google it. It won't do justice. It's totally a different experience to go and hike it and then get to see it live in person. You're like, what in the world? Because it's not just the rainbow mountain. It's like the surrounding mountains, the mountains that have snow on them, the red mountain that's like on the right, um, the huge like vast spaces on like your surrounding areas. You like look out and you're like, what in the world? Like, how is it possible that I'm standing on this mountain and I'm looking out and it looks like the rest of the world is out there? Like you're on one tiny point and you look out and it just looks huge, like enormous. You're surrounded by so much, but also like a ton of space. And so you're like, wow, it's just overwhelming, I guess is my way of describing it. But definitely Google it just so you can get like an idea of what I'm talking about, and I don't sound crazy to you, but super, super cool. Highly recommend it if you are a traveler, or not even. If you're not a traveler, become one. If you are a traveler, go to Peru and go to all the cool places, but also just live among the people and get to know them because they're super cool. Yep, that was pretty much Peru. It was crazy, but it was super awesome. Unbelievable. I cannot believe that I'm here. I cannot believe that I have experienced what I've experienced being here. I can't believe, yeah, I can't believe like any of it pretty much. It's just surreal and it's super amazing, super breathtaking, super beautiful. Yeah. And so then moving on into Galapagos, we just went this last week. We just got back like 2 days ago. We, Galapagos is an island, in case you didn't know. Beautiful island. It's not a tropical island, it's a desert island, so surprise. But it's super cool. It's hot, it's a little bit humid. There's a ton of animals, just tons and tons of animals. Everywhere. Literally, we got to the airport, we landed at the airport, obviously. We took a ferry, we weren't even on the ferry yet. We were just walking out of the airport, and you see these lizards, what do you call them? I don't know if they're iguanas. They're like lizards, they look like huge lizards. I don't know if you guys heard that, but, well, it's still going. December 6th is Días de Quito or Fiestas de Quito, and that's a huge celebration here. And it starts from way back, like probably the end of November. People start getting ready for it and hyping up. So today I have seen there are like these huge party buses without windows or doors, and they call them chivas, and people just ride on them, and the drivers play music and they decorate them and people just dance on them. Super cool. But today I saw like probably like 5 or 6 of them, and those are super rare, like around the city. Like since being here, I've been here like 3.5 months now, almost 4, and I have not seen like any. I think I saw one time, but it was empty and there was no music playing or anything. And so it was just driving through. I don't know where it was going. But anyway, so to give you an idea, people are having the best time these days. It's super fun to see. But anyway, back to Galapagos, there's a bunch of animals. And so even coming out of the airport, there were animals and birds everywhere, and you're not allowed to touch them, and you have to stay like at least 6 feet away from them and give them their space. Don't bother them, don't touch them, barely look in their direction. Like the animals own the land, like it's theirs. You're just a visitor. And they're not like strangers to having people, so they're not super afraid or like they're not scary. I mean, with some exceptions, like most animals aren't scary, they're just super friendly in their own way. um, yep. So anyway, we went to Galapagos. We went to our first day, I think. Was it our first day? I guess, yeah, like the first full day there. We went snorkeling and we got to see a lot of animals in the sea. It was super cool because we like snorkeled in one place, then we got out of the boat, and then we went and snorkeled in another place. And I'm pretty sure, no, I was about to lie. In Ecuador was my first time wearing a wetsuit. So anyway, in Galapagos, we wore wetsuits fairly often. I mean, when you do see things. Anyway, so when snorkeling, we wore wetsuits, and I was so shocked because when you jump in with your snorkel and your wetsuit, you float. I didn't know that. And so it was super cool because I was scared that I was going to drown because I get tired when I swim too much. But I jumped in and we started snorkeling. I was like having the hardest time breathing out my mouth and in my mouth because you have the rim that covers the glasses or the goggles that cover your nose, and so you can't breathe. It just like if you breathe, the mask just sucks onto your face and it hurts a little bit. And so I kept putting my face underwater and breathing through my nose, and I'd be like choking because I'd be like swallowing water that was coming in through the other tube. Anyway, and so I figured it out. We started snorkeling. Amazing. So cool. we got to see an endless amount of things. Super colorful fishes. Wow, super beautiful fish. Um, yeah, super cool. We saw Nemo, we saw Dory, we saw um, all the school of fish. You know, the school of fish that's in Finding Nemo that just goes all the time. That one. We saw stingrays. Super cool. So cool. We saw like 10 of them all together, like swimming together, and they were just like, I don't know, kind of like dancing in the water, and you would be swimming over them, and you could just see over them, like their little dots on top of their backs. Oh man. And if you were like quiet enough, like breathing quietly enough, you could hear like the noise they make as they swim. So cool. Like like I have never experienced anything like that in my life. Like that was just like unreal. Yeah, I don't know how to describe it, but we saw so many things. The best thing honestly was okay, there's sea turtles. Sea turtles super cool. Super just pretty. They're super beautiful. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And then the first day, the very first day, though, it wasn't our full day, but the first day, we went to a tortoise farm and just like walked around the farm and saw these massive tortoises. They're like eating grass or like bathing in mud and sleeping. And it's like mating season now, like we're approaching mating season, so tortoises will be a little more like being prepared to mate or like independent, I guess. The women look for the men or something like that. Yeah, the first cohort that went to Galapagos, they got to actually see two tortoises mating, and that was really interesting. We got to see a video, and yeah, just super weird, but also really cool. And whatever you want to call that, interesting. And then yeah, so I was talking about snorkeling, and so in one of the snorkel areas, we got to see like a family of sea lions, and they were like right here, like so close. It was insane. There was a baby, there's a dad, I think it was a dad, and then there was a mom, and they would just like swim around us and like super cool. And the baby was like playful. I think the dad was more a little bit like, who are these people? But we were very close. We were very close. Which I'm surprised about. I honestly don't know how we got so close. And yeah, and stayed okay and lived. Um, it was just really amazing. My friend had a GoPro and like the little seal like came and like bit it or like kissed it or something. It was so cute. Um, super weird. Honestly, I've always thought sea lions had like a white part in their eye. They don't. It's just like a straight up black eye and it's just a little bit creepy, but mostly super beautiful. And then we went to this other snorkel area and there was like it was like by rocks and there was so many sea lions on the rocks, babies everywhere, mamas and daddies all over the place. Like all they're just like no way you could not see a sea lion. It was amazing. And so then you'd go like underwater and you'd play with the babies. It was I don't know how to describe it. You're not like physically touching them or anything. You're just like swimming, but they like swim around you and they're like swimming at you and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm about to be attacked. And then they go like the other way. And it's just, I don't know, super cool, super amazing. I got to high five a baby sea lion because I was like, I just want to touch it, although we shouldn't. And so then I would just extend my hand. I wouldn't go to touch it. I just extend it. And then he passed by and he hit me with his fin, and I was like, I got high fived by a sea lion. It was amazing. I don't know. I can't come up with enough adjectives to describe what the experience was like, but it was crazy, super crazy. And I really didn't want to do it because I was scared. The water was really cold. Um, and I was just skeptical because I was scared, but it was okay. And then we got to have a free day, and in that free day we Could either go scuba diving, but it was really expensive, or we could go just do anything we wanted to, like have a total free day and explore, go to beaches, go eat restaurants and have ice cream and all the things. Literally anything. You could just explore the town. And Galapagos is just so beautiful. You'd just be so happy to even be there, like breathing Galapagos air. But oh my god, that scared me. I decided to have a free day because I was just so pooped. I've been so exhausted from trips, from finals, from everything. Um, and so I was like, I need a free day. I need a day when I don't have anything scheduled, anything to do, like bam, bam, bam. Like I just need some day to have peace and space and just an unscheduled day, you know? And so I was okay with it because scuba diving was expensive. I had had enough time in the ocean. I'm like scared of the ocean a little bit. It's very deep and very unknown, and it freaks me out to be in it so far in it. I can be like above it, but woo, just thinking about it makes me nervous. Anyway, so my friends went to have the greatest time scuba diving, and I was so happy for them. Meanwhile, we that took the free day got to go and explore a beach and walk around and shop a little bit. Mostly just like window shop because we didn't really buy anything. I didn't buy anything. Um, Walked around the town. The town was super pretty. Walked through the pier. Yeah, it was such a good day. It was a super needed day. Um, there was so much stress among all of us already, and so having a day where we could go and we found like this kind of a secret beach. Not secret, but honestly nobody was really there at all. Like it was a very empty beach and it was beautiful, like absolutely beautiful. It was like blue water, really soft sand. It was a super sunny day, and so it just all worked out super perfectly. And we just got to lay there and take in the sun. There was an option to go kayaking, but we had already gotten a chance to go kayaking at another beach, and so we just I decided not to go because I was okay. I was totally fine just laying there and breathing and just being in peace, you know? And so it was so beautiful. So good. Got to listen to music and just talk to one another and lay. It was so peaceful. I can't explain it. It probably sounds like I didn't do anything, but it was perfectly planned. Oh yeah, we got to go get coffee in the morning and have breakfast together. It was such a good day. Such a good day. Um, yeah. So anyway, I missed the part where we went to Tortuga Bay. In Tortuga Bay, obviously, by the sound of it, you probably know that there's a lot of tortugas. Tor- tor- Not tortoises, they're like sea turtles. That's what it is. Um, yep, so that's where we kayaked. We got to kayak there. Okay, Tortuga Bay, there's like this huge area where it's like empty. It's like, oh my god, the sand is like so soft. You want to like eat it. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just like delicious. Just such a weird adjective for sand because sand is not delicious, but it is when you feel like how soft it is, like on your toes or just like even sitting in it. Wow, it was so beautiful. So beautiful. You know, like there's sand that's super grainy and it almost hurts to walk on it. They actually use that sand to exfoliate. But anyway, this sand is not that sand. The sand was super soft. So soft. Anyway, and so we got to walk through it, and the water was blue, so clear, super clear. Like, wow, just beautiful. Just beautiful. I can't even describe it to you. It was like paradise. So beautiful. Anyway, and so you walk through it and you go to another area and you just see all these lizards coming out at you and they'll be sitting there. It's so weird. I don't know what they're for or like what they do, but super cool. They're just coming out of nowhere. Um, Blending in with the rocks. Some people almost stepped on them. And then we get to this other area and there's like this beach because you can't swim in that area because the waves are so intense. They're just like too dangerous for people to swim in. There's been accidents already, and so people just they don't swim in there and they're not allowed to. Like that's illegal. Anyway, so then you go to this other area and that's where people can swim. But the other area is not very great. Like the water's low, which is nice because it's safe, but the water is also like almost looks dirtier, like just darker. It's not as clear. The beach is dirtier. There's like sticks and rocks, and it kind of hurts your feet. But it's still super clean. Like compared to like I think to like beaches in California or like any other beach really in the US. It's super well taken care of because it's a super touristy area. It needs to be well taken care of and people do a really good job of like conserving the land, keeping it beautiful. Super beautiful. Anyway, so we got to swim in that area, but I didn't want to swim because we had swam all week pretty much in sea water day and night. And yeah. Anyway, that day I ended up getting back into the seawater, so it was made no difference. But I didn't want to swim there. Anyway, so there was time to swim, time to lay, and so we started laying, and then we were like, let's go kayaking. And we went kayaking, looking for sea turtles, and that was super cool because snorkeling, you see sea turtles like swimming around, and it's cool, but you can't like I don't know. It's just totally different. Because on the kayak, you would kayak and see turtles going around, but then they poke their heads out and they like make this sound. It's like and because they're breathing, like they're taking a breath. It's so cool. And you just see their little faces and their little mouth and the tiny teeth and they just make this sound and they just go back in and then you see them like come out somewhere else. And you can hear them come out. You like hear like this little water. I don't know how to describe it. I can't. It's just super cool. And then you hear them make a sound again, and you're like, "Go take a picture." And they're super close. And so there's like areas, and the person that's in charge of the kayaking will show you the areas. She'll be like, "Oh, this is where there's a lot of sea turtles," and then you come over here and you see a lot of fish, and then you see maybe a little bit of squid here. I don't actually remember her saying that. But then she's like, in this other area, if you go deep in there, you'll see a lot of sharks. And I was like, what? Yeah, it was super cool. Um, and yeah, so we kayaked for a little bit and then we had to hurry back because we had to go to this place where there's like a tunnel, like there's like rocks all over the place. And it's like a cave, but not because it's open. You can see the sky. Um, but you like jump in the water and the water is super like a deep like rich blue and you can't really see under but you can kind of see from like outside when you're not in it yet. It's kind of scary. But um yeah, I don't know, you just all down it's called Las Grietas. I don't know what it's called in English. Yeah, but anyway, um there's more than one but we just got to explore one. And because there's like a tour I think that you take and you just go to all of them, but you have to like jump through rocks and I think that was prohibited honestly. I heard something about it. Someone asked. Anyway, um, but yeah, so you like jump in and you can swim down and it's just like a tunnel, like you're swimming down a tunnel and then you come back and that's it. But there's fish there and there's like animals. I don't know what kind of animals because I didn't snorkel, but there's an opportunity to. I just didn't want to look. um, but it was really peaceful, super peaceful. I'm not a great swimmer, so I tend to swim on my back because it's super relaxing and I get tired less. So that's what I did there, and it was just so, so beautiful, so beautiful. Um, yep, and that was, yeah, I jumped in there, got out, and then we walked back and went back to our hotel. Super cool. Um, we had a fancy dinner at the end of the trip. Really fancy dinner. It was like, yeah, I don't know, and it was just super fancy. Just, yeah, really nice, really beautiful. And that's pretty much it. We had a lot of really beautiful like dishes. So good. The food was amazing. Um, yeah, there's like nothing I ate that I was like, I wouldn't eat that again. I'd probably eat everything again, like repeat everything. Um, the experience was amazing, the food was amazing, the people were super, super sweet. Um, yeah, it's like normal to be like a tourist there, and it's normal to see people from away, like from other places, like foreigners and stuff. So people will look at you, but they don't really like wonder why you're there. Like people are like, oh, okay, yeah, makes sense. Um, and it's not awkward. It's not like you don't feel unsafe. You're not like super guarded all the time. You're just like you can walk around at night, and it feels so amazing. The weather's great. It was just a really, really great experience. That was probably my favorite trip. Definitely my favorite trip. Um, but anyway, that's pretty much some kind of summary, and maybe not a summary at all, of the trips this week. Actually, tomorrow, in a few hours now. Yeah, in a few hours now, we'll be heading to the beach in Esmeraldas, and that's here in Ecuador. It's just on the coast, and that'll be our last trip. We'll just have our debrief. We'll talk about the trip. Um, and then we'll go home, and we'll come back here, we'll pack our things, and we'll be back in the airport to go home for real Z's. So yeah, that's so crazy to think about. It's been an insane adventure and an insane time. I'll try to vlog about our beach trip, but if not, then I'll probably wait until I get home and talk about everything as a whole, what it was like traveling back and all the things. Um, it's been a super, super amazing experience to be able to be here, to have these trips, to learn from my peers. Um, we had to say goodbye already to a few of our peers, and so that's been pretty sad, and I'm not looking forward to the very, very last goodbye. Um, but I think it'll be okay because we're all going back to the States, and I love to travel and I love to drive, and so hopefully we'll get to see each other again and in a different setting, in a different place. But man, these memories are so unforgettable. They're so, so special. This is truly my like fifth family in my life, and so um, yeah, such a special and unique experience to be here. And I'm so, so in love with the people I'm surrounded by. So it's, man, it's such a blessing. But yeah, thanks again for sticking around. If you made it this far, it's a pretty long video this time. Um, thanks for listening and tuning in to all the blogs. Um, yeah, on homesickness, I think I'm doing okay now. Like I'm much better because now I'm thinking that I'm gonna miss this family a lot. And seeing my family is coming so soon that I'm like not worried about it. Um, yeah, I'm just appreciating the moments, each moment as they come. And I'm looking forward to being home for Christmas, going back to the very cold weather, and wearing all of my seasonal clothes, drinking Starbucks again, all the little things, just stupid little things. Um, but yeah, anyway, again, thank you so much for everyone that's seen, that everyone that's read, heard, called, texted, um, anyone that's prayed, especially. You're amazing. You're a blessing, and I am so, so grateful for your presence in my life. Um, and hopefully, we'll see each other very soon. Um, yeah, very, very soon. Okay, thank you guys, and I'll see you later.